Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher within the Doll World, and I'm here today with my beautiful co-host, Miss Georgette Taylor.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Miss Georgette. And today's guest is KD Domoto, and she is the creator and owner of KD Dolls. She sells her dolls through Etsy, and we saw her dolls and fell in love and knew that we had to share them with you. So, hello, KD. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. It's my honor.
Our honor to have you. So we're going to start with your doll journey. We'd like to know how you began with making dolls, and if you had dolls as a child, just your doll journey and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so I may start being in the Harlem YMCA. I've been living in Harlem more than 20 years. Originally, I'm from Japan though, but anyway, when I moved to Harlem, I worked at the Harlem YMCA after school program. And I'm not really the educator or anything, but YMCA just opened up the computer class for the kids. And I was just a volunteer assistant. But mainly we didn't teach kids so-called ID stuff. It was after school. We just let the kids getting relaxed, they're playing the game, sometimes do a little bit of educational things. But those free time, kids can play any kind of games. I noticed that back then, among mostly girls, there is a very popular app called Barbie.com. So kids can assemble their own Barbie. You can pick up your skin tone, eye color, hair color, dress, shoes, everything. It's such a fun. But one thing I noticed was, it's a Harlem YMCA. Back then, most of the kids are African American, and some Latino kids were there. And some kids assembled lighter skin tone dolls, and some kids chose a blonde color, blonde hair too. To me, that's okay because it's a fashion. Any kind of combination kids can make with their imagination. But somehow, little girl who has a darker skin tone assembled a lighter skin doll. I was kind of, I've been just observing. I didn't say anything. I didn't tell kids you shouldn't do that. You have to assemble what looks like you. No, I didn't do that. But I've been just observing. Then later, I noticed that when you go to the Toys R Us, there is lots of dolls. And Barbies, as you know, there's a lots of black, brown Barbies. But I didn't see much rag dolls whose skin tone the black and the brown. So that was the beginning. But actually, I've been busy. I'm a writer, actually, for Japanese publication. Much later on, after I quit YMCA, somehow I started to make doll. Why? I even don't know, because maybe I always kind of crafty, because my mom, she's a serious sewer. She was a dressmaker. She could sew kimono. She's Japanese. So she does everything. So needles, thread, those things are always in my childhood memory. So naturally, I started to make it with no knowing what to do with this. That was the beginning. Then a friend of mine, she asked me to join a very small pop-up shop in a closed setting. And that was actually my real first pop-up shop. Only 1 or 2 pieces were sold by, my friend bought it, that's it. But then I started to have a pop-up shop at my son's school. Back then, he was in the middle school. And they have, time to time, they had a huge lobby. They had a pop-up shop selling cheesy toys, actually. Came from a dollar store kind of stuff, because it's fun for kids to buy $1 or $2 toy from the and money. It was fun too. But when I started to sell dolls, mainly teachers, female teachers, African-American teacher, the Latina teacher, they said, like, oh my God, Katie, are you making this kind of thing? So that reaction really encouraged me. That was a real beginning, I think. then I started to have a real pop-up shops in Harlem mainly. Once in a while, I went to Brooklyn too, Bronx too, yes. Year of 2019, I was fully into pop-up shops. I really enjoyed it, but also every single pop-up shop is different. I learned so many things from other vendors or customers. It was really educational to me. 2020 pandemic came. So last year I was not able to any pop-up shop. So I focus on more on Etsy. Basically, that's my story.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, when you were working on the dolls and you found that need for the brown dolls because it was harder for people to find them, and that's why you did the dolls with the froze and
Yes,
yes.
rag, yes. Most of the rag dolls I saw in a store or website, yes, they have a black, brown, tan skin tone. It's so cute. But most of them, their hair was also made by fabric.
Okay.
So that's cute though. And actually it's easy to manage by little children, babies. But as I said, I was somehow really obsessed with hair since I was a kid by myself. So to me, if I make a doll, hair also looks like real. That's my, motivation. So I've been thinking, yes, I'm gonna make a doll, but I don't wanna use a fabric for hair. And I do. But because I've been here in Harlem, so even though I myself don't use a hair extension, so I have a friend who's a hairdresser, hairstylist. So I went to her salon and I could have an opportunity to how she make hair with an extension. Okay, I see. Okay. That was my learning too. Then I went to those hair care store on 125th Street, Harlem. There's lots of them. And it took time to figure out because it's not a human, it's a doll. So it's different. So what type of extension weave is best for my doll?
So what kind of hair do they have?
There's so many variety as you know. I use a weave. And
so you wigs and weaves like cankalon and that kind of hair. Do they have human hair or is it a
synthetic?
Synthetic?
Yes, yeah, it's so expensive. Unless you are Beyonce, you can't afford it.
Yeah, I figured that it wasn't human. That's what I was trying to get at. It's a synthetic type hair.
It's too much for dolls, right? So
yes.
I go synthetic.
Okay.
It's cheaper.
Okay.
And I can around try the different types of weave every time. And some weaves are difficult to handle, and some are easier to me.
Okay.
To make afro weave. And after I learned the basic thing to me, this is an afro.
We love her.
I love that.
So this is actually a short afro weave for human.
Okay.
The short hair for human is long enough to my dolls.
Okay. Okay. All
so
right.
She's gorgeous.
I have to be not a doll maker anymore. I have to be a hairstylist too. Hair because it's way long for dolls.
Right.
It's beautiful.
That's true.
You got one back there. Does she have braids?
I don't have a braids here right now. I used to use it. Yeah, make it braids too.
Okay.
But at this point I don't have it.
Okay, there's a brown doll toward the back.
Yeah. This is not a braid. This part she still have a like a
curls.
Wavy hair
curls. Okay.
Yeah, leave them. I thought it's cute. And the rest of them part she has an afro.
Okay.
Actually I just made it 2 nights ago. I haven't finished it.
Okay.
So she has the wings.
Yeah, like a little angel.
Yes. So I made her angels a couple years ago for holiday season.
Okay.
But I'm gonna make more, much more.
Yeah. Okay, angels are fun.
They're beautiful.
I love angels.
There's a lot of people who like them.
Sometimes use that kind of color hair. She has a pink hair.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
She is her little outfit. So
Yeah.
are they dressed in African wax fabric? Is that what
This is
it is?
dashiki fabric.
Dashiki? Okay.
Yes, dashiki is also, as you know, for the original for a shirt,
Uh-huh.
like a panel, right?
Yes.
So every part of the dashiki fabric has a different pattern.
Okay.
So I'm really actually obsessed with dashiki fabric too, because on 125th Street, there's a couple of the African fabric stores. I was a frequent customer. I started to make friends with the owners. So it was really, really, to me, inspiration. Every time I went to the store, so many different types of prints, colors,
Yes.
but especially dashiki. So this is also dashiki, came from dashiki.
Okay.
That's so cool. Yeah, my mom, it's so funny you said that. My mom used to make me dashikis when I was younger.
Oh.
And it's so weird because I just wrote this story. You know, my mom passed away recently, and we're doing like so I'm doing like a little flyer for her. We're gonna go to like a memorial celebration, and that was one of the stories I wrote in there, was because she was a seamstress, and so she went to fashion industries in New York, because I'm from New York, and she didn't finish her degree, but she always sewed. And I remember growing up, that was the story I told, was that she would make me dashikis all the time, these little dashiki suits and stuff. It was so cool. I loved them. They were just so nice.
Yes.
You still have
No, I don't have them anymore. But but it just brought me back to that moment when I was writing about the dashikis, because you just don't hear about them too much, but they were very popular, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, you know.
They were.
Yeah, they really were. And the prints were amazing. So yeah, that was interesting.
And as you know, so it's actually for human beings, right? I need just a small piece for dolls.
Right.
So every, corners or center or different parts of dashiki give me a different pattern. So as I said, both came from dashiki fabric. That's amazing. I could use different types of, make a different types of dress. This is dashiki, this is dashiki, this is the blue dashiki, this is pink dashiki.
That's cool.
So what does your I saw a photo of you, I think that you sent us. Is that you have your son's African American?
Yes. He is.
Okay. What does he think about your dolls?
He thinks it's cool. Originally, so because I only have a son. So when I made a doll, of course he doesn't play with dolls, right? But one time when he was much smaller, one time I made his doll, tried to make looks like him. And
did he like it?
That's cute.
Yes, and still it's somewhere in my house and hooked up on the wall. And the really interesting happened during this pandemic. My son, now he's a high school kid, teenager, but probably staying at home more than a year. He got bored. He started to do almost everything on the computer. And one day he asked me, "Mom, can I make a doll?" I said, "Do you want to make a doll?" There is a character came from a cartoon or games. And he said, "You wanna try to make that character doll?" So we did it together. Yes,
that's beautiful.
I made a character that very much is the simple redesigned, very much a simple design for him. And it doesn't have a whole body. It has only face and the hair.
Okay.
It was the beginning for him. So just like a only face.
Okay.
Cut the fabric circle and sew together and make inside art. Put some the cotton inside and put the face. Try to resemble to the those character. And he really enjoyed it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That is very cool.
Yes.
Where's your son at?
In Harlem. Yes, I'm from Osaka, Japan, right? And when I moved to New York, I get married. I got married with my husband, who's African American. And later on, actually, we adopted our son. So he's on a DNA level, he's not Japanese, he's African American. But because I raised him, so he really into Japan. He said he's a half Japanese. But I brought him in Japan to see my family. How many times? 4 or 5 times. So
nice.
Oh, that's really nice.
He really into Japan. He feels like that's a second his hometown. That's why I'm Japanese too.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Because he doesn't speak Japanese. He knows a lot of words from those the YouTube videos, but he doesn't speak Japanese yet. But also, it was very interesting about how humans' identity was formed. As I said, he actually was never living in Japan. The DNA level, he's not Japanese. He's African American. But because of me, and also games, cartoon, TV shows, he was a little kid. A lot of stuff came from Japan. So he didn't know when he was small, but later on he started to know, oh, this cartoon came from Japan, or this game too. So his interest about Japan is going to deeper and deeper. So I'm Japanese. It made my husband bit kind of, oh, you said that?
That's how we felt too. I was like, why do you want a Japanese dictionary at 10? You know, but but he did. He loved the culture and loves it so much. He's been living there for like almost 4.5, almost 5 years now.
Wow.
So it speaks fluently. So so if you need any, if your son needs any guidance, you know, we can can talk to Corey, because Corey is definitely African American living in Japan. So
yes, many young African American or Latina, they said they were really into Japanese culture. They want to go to Japan. Actually, some of them already be there. So I'm just really surprised at how those cartoon, comic books, and games influence the young generations.
And
that's good. That's good. He joined. He's making dolls now, so that's another connection. You know.
Yes, that's good to do with your son. Yes, because that breaks down that whole stereotype. Because boys don't traditionally play with dolls, but they do, and that's what we see in this industry. I don't know, maybe I would say the majority of the people that we interview who are actually doll creators are men. A lot of men in this industry. So
making dolls.
Yeah, that's
good
cool.
money.
Yeah, making good money, making dolls, and you know, they grew up playing with dolls, and it's interesting how their doll play influenced them as adults, because we have some people who their parents said you cannot play with dolls, and they were just determined to play with dolls. So we have like Joey Versailles, who is a history-making doll maker. He made the first 3D printed doll. Joey's parents said that he could not play with dolls. They tried to keep him from playing with dolls, and Joey was the type, anything that he could get that he could form into a doll, he made into a doll. He's got paper dolls, you know, all kind of dolls. He's like, I'm playing with dolls. I like to play with dolls. And now he makes his living with dolls. And then you have people who grew up playing with dolls like Mel Odom, and that doll love just continued. So it's interesting to see how the doll play has affected men.
When I talked to the child psychologist, she said playing with a doll is necessary to the gender doesn't matter, boys and girls doesn't matter. In her office, there is a dollhouse, not like a Barbie doll, pink stuff, but very plain dolls. And she said she's going to let any kids, boy and girl, play with a doll in the dollhouse. She said it's going to be a reflection of kids themselves. So she could see everything through that kid playing a doll. That's really good for kids. Kids going to see himself through the doll.
Right.
Yeah, play therapy is really important for children, for all of us. But yeah,
so
it's really important.
So let me ask you a question. When you were creating your dolls, and did you start making Black dolls, or was that something that you eventually did? And do you think when you started out making Black dolls, do you think it was just something that I guess reminded you of when you were at the Y and these children were making dolls that didn't look like them? Like, why did you start to make African American looking dolls?
Yes, so as I said, it's a Harlem YMCA. Majority of it are Black and Latino. That's the beginning. And the funny thing is, every time I have a pop-up shop, majority of the customers are African American and Latinos. It's Harlem, but still, yeah, it's a gentrification. Lots of white people come too. But still, it's Black and Latinos. Lots of people keep on asking me the exact same question. Did you make those? Why? Why are you making black dolls? Many, many, many times. I answer the same question 100 times because people are so curious. The funny thing is, when my co-vendors, other vendors, who's African American, who's selling, let's say, jewelry or soaps, she just happened to come to my booth and chit-chatting with me, and the customer comes in. So naturally, customer think she is a doll maker. And then started to ask her a question, how much is this? And then she said, oh, she said, no, that's not mine, that's hers. And she pointed me out, and the customer said, you made those? Then question, start, why? So I repeat Harlem YMCA episode many, many times, but it really makes people understand. So to be honest, in the beginning, I was nervous to have a pop-up shop in Harlem selling the Black blonde dolls to Black blonde people, how people think of me. So the word cultural appropriation was a big issue. So I was a bit nervous about that, but nobody say anything negative about that. People just wondering, keep asking a question. And they understood, but majority of people, even though asking a question, they just say, oh, that's wonderful, that's great, I want to buy this. Or especially certain age Black women, they said, I got the exact same comment from lots of older women. They said they wish they would have that kind of doll when they were a little girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't have them. They tried to create it themselves, but it's hard. That's really encouraged me.
Yes.
So representation is everything. So doll is actually a reflection of you. Why I expand the design. Of course, I'm only one person. I couldn't make everything all by myself. So I started use two skin tones. This is tan and this is brown. These are my basic skin tone.
Okay.
I wish I could make more, but then I started to use it's off-white or and I don't have this, but I give you the picture. Different skin tone dolls, dark brown and the tan and the off-white dolls all together. Those are friends. That's my concept. All kids, any kind of a kids, actually must have all those different dolls. Because if you live in Harlem as a kid, you have a smaller chance to make friends with the white or Asian kids, vice versa. If you live in the almost entirely Asian or white community, it's difficult to make the other type of friends. So at least you could have those dolls as friends.
That's nice. I never thought about it that way. So that's pretty cool.
That is.
I love your dolls. I think they're just so cute.
Oh, this is the one I was talking. Oh, her hair is just up.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Like little locks?
No, it's like a
no, it's just hair.
curl.
Okay, hair up. A girl. Okay. Okay.
Harlem, we have a lots of Latino people too. So people, they have a straight hair, the blonde skin, straight hair.
Right. Yes. Very nice.
Come in a variety of colors and hair types.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I'm happy that you asked that question, Georgette. I think it's important. I think that your answer is important when you said that it's important for everyone to have dolls, not just dolls that look like them. Because I think we all agree, and that's where it began. We all need dolls that look like us. But I think there's a type of empathy that we can develop for other people from having more of a variety. Yes. And I think it breaks down some of the some of the fears. I think it's so, prejudices, a lot of times they're based on, well, they're prejudging. They come from a place of ignorance. You just don't know. And because you don't know, you fill in the blank with whatever. And I think that if as a child you have, even if it's just a doll that is different, you can say, my doll that is lighter or darker is just as important to me, and I have the same type of friendship with my lighter, darker doll as I have with my other doll. So they're all the same, and that helps to build that community, that village, and to help people to break down some of those stereotypes that we have of each other and the prejudging. So that's a beautiful answer. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I live in New York, so that she came from New York. So New York is a very special place. I love New York a lot, really. But also, people tend to say New York is such a melting pot. We are so much divided geography. Go to Black and Latino, going to Russian, Asian, like this. Every community is almost occupied by one or two races. So even though it's such a small city, but most of the people tend to stay in their own community. And not able to communicate with other group of people. It's very difficult, actually.
That is true. That's true when you said that, because there are definitely different communities or different cities that are populated with a certain ethnic group, and it relates that way. So so that's true. I mean, I grew up in the South Bronx, and when we got there, it was Irish people in our area, and then they moved down and we moved in. And then in between that, then we started getting a lot more Latin people introduced into the Bronx area. But I think she's right. I mean, Queens is known for a certain ethnic group, you know what I mean? Then you have Chinatown, and then you have all these things. And so I think unless you travel within the city, you don't get to see other people. You don't really get to communicate. I mean, I was lucky because even though I lived in the Bronx, I worked in Manhattan very early in my lifetime. So I had an opportunity to meet and talk to other people. I think you're right. Even though it's a big melting pot, there's still those little areas, that are contained within the big city. So yeah, that is true.
Yeah, actually, my husband, he's African American, but also like you, he's from the Bronx. And his mom, she passed away 10 years ago, I think. But she said in her apartment building, she said when she and her husband, and when my husband was the kid, moved in the new apartment, she said most of the people are African American. But later on, year by year, more Latino people came in. And it was, to me, very interesting. She was kind of complaining because Latino people, of course, speak Spanish to each other. She didn't Spanish.
Understand that, right.
She felt like isolated.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's a really good person. She was able to, along with anybody. But in her heart, she was like, I think she was concerned about her own community was vanishing at that point.
But that's why having dolls of all different, ethnic backgrounds is important, because it does allow kids to experience that, and also I think too, what it does, it gives them a little bit of curiosity, because if they have a doll that is a different ethnic group, then it kind of makes them want to know more about that person, you know what I mean, or about that particular ethnic group. And it does help when you're playing with dolls too, I think, to bring that into the fold.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
Actually, my husband and mom, she was doll maker too, actually.
Oh,
cool.
Yes.
Does she make the same kind of dolls?
Rag doll. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
That
Yes.
is.
When she passed away, so my husband's sister, they clearing up a mom's apartment. There is a lots of dolls, and a couple of them are still there in my living room.
Oh, that's nice. That's so nice. That's a great connection. That's so cool.
So when you go with your pop-ups, you said you have people ask you, but they all, it's like they all love the dolls. And that's nice, that because there is a curiosity. It's and it goes back to, people tend to, and you're talking about this, your mother-in-law, people tend to feel more comfortable with things that they are more familiar with. And so that's cool. I think that's good to have the diversity with you in making the dolls and with you having those conversations, because that also opens up, you know, other conversations for people to have. And so by making the dolls, you are making, it's like you're making your community a more diverse place through the dolls and through the discussions that you're having with other community members about the dolls. So that's really cool that you're able to bless your community that way. And there, if I understand, there's a good sized group of people, a good sized group of Japanese people living in Harlem. Is because there's like is it a Harlem Japanese choir or something like that? When I was looking for information on you, I saw that there seems to be like a good sized community there.
Yeah, yes, because of gentrification nowadays, so I see more Japanese population in Harlem. When I moved into Harlem 20 years ago, I don't see much. Actually, it was funny. We just moved in the first apartment, my husband and I, and I was in the bodega nearby apartment to get something. And there is a young girl, probably teenager. She was staring at me at bodega. And when I was paying for the juice or something I'm buying, she asked me, why don't you live in your own community? She was not hostile. She was just wondering.
Wow.
Because particularly it was 150th Street, actually deeper Harlem. That particular region area back then, 20 years ago, I don't see any Asian at all, maybe one or two. So that's why the girl was simply wondering, why are you here?
Yes.
Nowadays, yes, I see lots of Japanese people. Yes, I have some friends here, but still as a ratio, it's small.
Okay.
It's not a big yet.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Actually, there is the group mothers who has the young children. So my son was already big enough, so I was not in the really part of the group, but I know some people from the group. So they were mothers, Japanese mothers, who has young children. Mostly they were U.S. born or immigrated when they were babies. But again, it's a cultural thing. It's about mothers want kids learn Japanese language. So most of them go to the local school, which is taught by all in English. No Japanese program in public schools. So that's why they formed a group and let them have a play date, the Japanese language environment.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
I think that's amazing. I think that it's important, but that we all still keep our traditions. Our children understand our traditions and our history. I know people describe us as a melting pot. I see it more as like a stew, you know, because it's like you've got the potato and you've got the carrot and you've got the onion and the beef, and but they all come together and make something beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, when I went to the play date in the park. I'm a writer too, so I was trying to write about that moms groups, how programs are going. It was so cute and pretty and beautiful because most of them are Japanese mothers, but their husbands were really different. Some husband are Japanese, some husband are other Asian people, and some are white, some are black, some are Latinos. So consequences is if you see a whole bunch of kids together speaking in Japanese, it was so beautiful.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I can see that being a great story.
That would be really cool. Yes.
Yeah. I know we should jump back into the dolls, but it's a great conversation because it is about that, right? I mean, you're a different ethnic group than the dolls that you create. So when you started making dolls, did you know that you could actually make them? I mean, like, and why did you decide to just make cloth dolls and not branch out and start to do other types of dolls?
I mean, you were talking about skin tone?
Well, I mean, no, not so much skin tone, but I mean like body shape or, you know,
okay.
That kind of thing.
Body shape, yes, it's a subject actually I've been thinking about. So in the beginning, I was totally beginner. So anyway, I started the one doll, second doll, third doll. Then I noticed that it's basically the same body shape because my idea came from a very simple traditional rag doll.
Okay.
So we want to make a simple doll But as I said, I'm obsessed by hair. I want to emphasize the hair. So body must be simple. It's always like my doll has this kind of simple body shape.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, the first, second, third doll I made was much skinnier because I had no idea. Anyway, just make it. So it was okay. But later on, I saw maybe it's too skinny. It's not realistic. So I slightly change the pattern, slightly put some curve, not a curve, really curve, but
Mhm.
yeah, you could say still it's skinny. So
Mhm.
I've been thinking about it, but my dilemma is, as I say, I'm only one person, so I'm not able to lots of jobs all by myself. So little by little. So as I said, I just going to expand the other skin tone like this.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, she's not skinny. She's more round.
so I make this a chunkier because it's a baby, real baby.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And I see you've got that mermaid. I love that, your mermaid doll. We haven't lifted her up yet. I love
I know
that
Tammy
doll.
loves the mermaid doll.
Yeah. I
And
love
this
that
is
mermaid. She's so cute.
this is a mermaid.
Yes, it's so cute. I love
Because
them.
I myself not a child anymore, so I have no idea how little girls are crazy about the mermaid. So
They are. They love mermaids.
Yes, mermaids and ponies and horses. That tends to be little
Mhm.
girls. It's little things that they love.
Self-taught yourself how to make
Yeah,
those. Yeah. Okay.
really
That's
small.
nice.
Sitting next to my mom, just watching she making the dresses and the kimono or other thing. But I never go to the school. If I have opportunity, I want to go because I don't have a basic skills. If I could have a basic skill or officially taught, probably I could expand the design. Maybe I could complicate the design, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There's lots of people in the doll world who are doing, great things with cloth dolls. I'm thinking off the top of my head, Gail Ray, just her dolls are incredible, and she teaches classes, and she does ball jointed
Wow.
cloth dolls. So they're articulated at the wrist and the elbows, and yeah, they're beautiful dolls.
Wow.
Yeah, Gail does some great dolls. One of the things I wanted to ask you about your dolls is, are their clothes removable?
No.
Okay.
That included the previous conversation.
Okay.
I wanted to make it simple. That's one reason.
Okay.
But also I didn't still does. I don't have enough skill to make those extra fancier dress.
Oh, I was just wondering if you could take the dress off and put another dress on, because they could. So you have the doll back there with the white and red dress on, and you could buy a dress for her made with the fabric from the blue dolls.
Yes.
Daishiki. That's what I was wondering, if you could change their clothing.
Okay, so they are stitched on them. Okay.
That's the time I use a fancier material. I have a friend who's a designer, actual real designer. So those real designers have a lot of scraps, tiny pieces of clothes they can't use anymore after they made. So there is a plenty of very fancy fabric. Actually, I have in a closet, beads on it, the fur on it. How can I use this? But it's a trick. I just keep them till I have an idea how to use it.
That's great. It gives you something to look forward to. That's one of the things I think that is that I love most about the doll community. It's that creativity. You can interview 10 different doll creators, and they're doing 10 different kinds of dolls, or actually they're probably doing 20 types, because usually nobody's doing one doll. So all these different types of dolls, and even with the same material, so we interview you and you're doing these cloth dolls. If we talk to Gail, she's doing another kind of cloth doll. I mean, there's just all areas that we're looking to when we're expanding, as we're also talking to people who are making accessories. So people who are making doll clothing. So the doll world is just so vast, so much beauty, so much creativity. I love it.
I agree with you, yes. Every time I went to the Etsy and just keep on searching. Every time I said, wow, she has this kind of idea, or she has that kind of idea. It's really give me inspiration.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love looking at them. I get so much
Mhm.
pleasure from just looking at dolls. I mean, it's like someone who reads comics or something. It just brings my heart joy.
But as a
Just-
dollmaker, when I see something wonderful, great, but I got that inspiration from those dolls, but I shouldn't copy it. I have
Right.
Yes, yeah, you shouldn't.
own.
You do your
You
own.
just get
You
inspired to do
inspired by
more.
it, yes.
Right. Yeah.
But not
that's
that you
it.
go and do the exact same doll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That would be
Totally.
boring if everybody had the same doll.
Yeah, but also I have to show respect to the original maker. That's a hard design. I shouldn't.
Yes.
Yes.
So how has your transition from being in pop-up shops going into Etsy, how has that been for you, during COVID? And do you find it's to be sustainable, like financially sustainable,
Mhm.
being on Etsy as opposed to doing pop-ups?
Actually, because as I said, 2019 was full of pop-up shop. And last year, the full of Etsy, no pop-up shop. So which means I only have a 1 year each experiences, fully
Okay.
pop-up shop in Etsy. So I don't think I have enough experience to really understand. But still, especially last year, it was the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult to talk or estimate because in New York we have a lockdown in mid of March.
Yes.
So March on Etsy, I saw the zero because everybody's mind was so occupied by COVID.
Yes.
People have no idea. There's no room to the browsing and buying the dolls. So I thought, this year this is gonna be really, really bad. What should I do? But April, I started sell some doll. And May, June, yes, I was wondering about as a New Yorker. Yes, I did understand because the March we were in a shock mode. We couldn't do anything else, and we were so worried about can I go to supermarket? No, supermarket from the grocery you touched. That's our mindset in New York.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
We are really seriously afraid because 800 people a day died in New York City.
Yeah.
So,
New York was scary.
Mm.
New
yes,
York was
we
scary.
got, but after cooped up in an apartment, several days, not the day, but several weeks, we started bored. We were still concerned to be being outside, but in a house, in an apartment, there's nothing to do besides the internet shopping.
I think that a lot of us ended up doing that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Yes, slowly customers came back.
Okay.
I was
That's
happy
good.
with.
So do you think that you will continue to have the Etsy shop? Will you do just the Etsy, just pop up, or will you do both?
I do both because they work to each other actually.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I could do pop-up shop only in New York City. I
Mhm.
couldn't do any other states at this point.
Okay.
Means there's the only way I could sell my doll to people who live in other states or in the other country too. I would get the order in UK, Australia, Israel, Japan. So
Wow, that's
Etsy is,
wonderful.
yes. Mhm.
That's really nice.
And also pop-up. I just did a very little pop-up shop twice last month, June. It was my comeback.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it's a very nice African American owned gift shop called Needle in Harlem. They sell such a great stuff, and they had a little pop-up shop on the storefront. I joined it, and the pop-up shop is also really important to me to talk to customers to see, even though sometimes no conversation, but just seeing the customer reaction when they see those. That's give me a hint or next design idea or what people are thinking of. So that's why I really want to keep on doing both.
That makes sense though. Yeah.
So people casually just walking through in front of the store and there's a little pop-up shop. Let's take a look.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the small dolls are really welcome.
I would assume that they would fly off the shelf. They are.
Yes,
So cute.
the representation. I live in Harlem. Harlem have lots of Caribbean people
Yes, I see the
they do.
flags. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
as you do, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Jamaican.
Mm-hmm. I have Caribbean friends, and they got the idea because they love their own flags a lot. They buy flags for decoration, or
Okay.
key, or stickers. So it gives me the idea. Why not the flag doll?
Yeah, so cute.
They are cute.
Made
Little
us,
earrings. What are their earrings made from?
it's called jump ring. Jump ring is parts for jewelry.
Okay, they
So
are
cute.
so cute.
I know, I love them.
And I know you keep saying I'm just one person, but the variety in your dolls is amazing. I mean,
you.
yeah, there's at least, it looks like at least half a dozen different types of dolls that you do.
Yeah.
So you're very creative with
Thank
what you're doing. Yes.
But
Yes.
also, I made that mini afro doll.
That's my favorite. So cute.
Actually, mainly
That's Georgette's doll right there.
I made a doll for grown-ups.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
lots of us who collect dolls, lots of grown-ups.
I know some grown-ups, doll collector, they buy those full-size doll, but still most of the grown-ups don't buy those full-size dolls.
Mhm.
But they can put this on the desk or night table or bookshelf.
Yes.
So everybody
That's where I'm
needs
gonna put mine, right there by my monitor when I'm doing a show. It's gonna go right there. So cute. Me with no hair, right? You know, I love it. I just love the
Yeah.
fro. It's so cute.
Actually, my son said that. So all my daughter had a lot of big hair. His teenage boy told me, "How about dog who has no hair?"
Oh.
Oh, that would be good. No, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if she had no hair and earrings.
Oh my goodness,
seems
they would
like-
love it.
Yeah, people who cut their hair, women who cut their hair short.
They
can
wear
have
bigger
the
earrings.
Bigger
Yeah.
earrings, yeah. That would be,
Mhm.
I think that would be a hot seller. That
Yeah, I
would be
think
good.
so.
If
Yeah,
somebody
it's really
fit that
very
description.
very chic, you know, and
Mhm.
yeah, that would be cute too.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been watching Instagram. Lots of ladies, they videotape themselves, not only cutting their hair, but shaving their hairs.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm having a heart attack. My hair? Beautiful long hair she has, and she's going to cut. She does like this. But
That's
in
funny.
the end, she totally completely shaved her hair and put pretty makeup on, and as you said, put the earring on. So
She's
pretty.
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not that bold yet. You know, I still keep a little on. I don't know if I could do the whole thing, but I have a little head, so I was blessed with that. So that's helpful. But I still don't think I can have no hair. You know, my husband would be like, "Oh no, you might pass out."
That might be for my husband too. I shave my hair down to an inch, and I've done it a number, and I did it myself. It's just like, I'm just tired. I'm hot. My head is hot. And I just shaved my hair down, and it was empowering. Our hair, you know, is so much of our identity. And it's funny because, you know, I get this big fro. I love my
Tammy
big
has
fro.
a big fro, like that little doll. Tammy has the big fro, and her hair's out. It's huge. So yeah.
But there was so much power from that short hair, and that's how I transitioned into the fro, shaving it down and then letting it grow out and just getting used to my natural hair. And it's like, I love my natural hair.
Yeah.
But I needed to go through that process.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a doll with no hair or very short hair, little tiny afro, with earrings would be so cute. People would love it too.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Harlem, because I think there's a lot of women in Harlem who wear hair like that too. So
yeah.
Once I went to the group of the cancer survivors, female cancer survivors.
Yes.
I was there as a writer. Again, I was writing about the groups. And that day's meeting subject was hair care. Because as you know, once they started the chemotherapy, most of people lose their hair.
Yes.
How to maintain the skin or hair condition.
Alopecia.
Yes, a lot of women with alopecia. Yes.
But also, there is every day was in a different state.
Mhm.
The person who just started therapy, still she has a full hair.
Right.
Yes.
In the middle of the treatment, she has totally completely lost her hair.
Mm.
Oh,
Person who's recovering, she again started gaining hair. So
okay.
different stage. So
Mm.
how
Okay.
to maintain those hair in a different way? And I was really
Wow.
moved because
Yes.
again, most of the women here is really important things.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. So dolls like that would be very moving for people too, you know,
Mhm.
to have that.
Mhm.
So what are you expanding to? I know it's just you, but what else are you doing with your dolls? What else can people expect from your line?
My dolls themselves.
Mhm.
So actually, again, I have to go back to the same thing. I'm not able to make everything anything. Every time I had a pop-up shop, some customer ask me, "Don't you have this kind of doll, that kind of doll?"
Mm.
I have to say, "I'm sorry, I don't have them. I wish I could make it." Yeah, it's a real dilemma. Actually, in a pop-up shop, I could say only, "I'm sorry, I don't have it today," right? But time to time, I get a message via internet, via Etsy. Can you make a custom doll, custom design doll?
Mm-hmm.
I want to do it, but it takes a lot of times, and I have to make a balance. How much I could use my time to use those basic my line, and how many times I have to use for the custom doll. So most of the case, I have to turn down the custom doll. Yes, it's about timing, my schedule, and
Right.
what the customer want to. If everything work together, yes, time to time I take customer orders. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I made a doll for AKA. That's a group of ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As you know, the same color is pink and green.
Pink and green.
Yes.
And before that, actually, I used to make a little this size doll, but with a hijab.
Oh,
Mm.
yes. That would
But
be
it was a
beautiful.
small one. So the one lady asked me if I could make a full size doll with a hijab.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's nice.
I wish I could make more.
Yeah. No, we have to definitely understand the time that is involved in creating things like
Mhm.
that, you know. So, and you know, and I think the good thing is that you're honest with your time, and
Yes.
you're honest with the people and saying, you know, I would love to do it, but you know, my time is limited because
Yes.
you know, it is what it is. It's one person, you know. So
Yes.
I totally understand that. You do great work, and so I know you want to
Mhm.
spend time making sure that the doll is the way that they want it, and that takes time too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So how much time do you spend like per week making dolls? What's your week look like?
It's very difficult because I'm a freelance writer, right? And I make dolls. It's really difficult to answer.
Okay.
But at least I try to use a couple of days a week
Okay.
Mhm.
to make dolls,
Mhm.
but not really from morning to the night. Writing first, and when I finish it, send to the editor. Then I started to make
Mhm.
Okay.
for a couple of hours. So
Couple
it's
hours. Okay. So you kind of do them when you have that extra time to do them. It's not like oh, I do like 4 hours every day, because if that varies, right?
But last year, because I was not able to go outside for my writing, I used to go outside always on the street, interviewing people for my writing. But just last year, I couldn't do any interview at all. So I couldn't make. I could have more time to make a doll last year.
Right,
Mhm.
right, yeah. Yeah, we understand that. We had a couple other people on who created a comic strip online
Mhm.
about their dolls, and because of the fact that they were in the house all the time, they could do it on a more consistent basis. But
Mhm.
now that they have to go back to work, it's the same thing, right? It's not that
Yes.
much time devoted now to that. And so now you got to find that balance. So yeah,
Mhm.
we understand that.
And that's, we're seeing that in lots of places. It's like with us, COVID is what in some ways kicked our show off, because we had been sitting around, messing around. We had a few shows, we were going to do some more, and COVID happened. It's like, whoa, people are going to be sitting at home. We need to give them something to listen to. And so that gave us the incentive to go forward and to release In the Doll World. And I guess the rest is history. Meet all these beautiful people like you who are making amazing dolls and really impacting the doll world.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've seen some interesting things come out of COVID.
To be honest, as a New York girl, still I have a fear of COVID coming back.
I do too.
Maybe we could enjoy summer more than last year, but winter is coming. Naturally, yes, more infection coming according to the temperature. New York people, we were really seriously traumatized by COVID. So we need a kind of a rehab mentally.
Yes, I can understand that.
I think that what happened in New York, at least for me, one of the things that made New York so scary is New York is America. And I know that this is my own, I don't know, kind of belief, but because we have so much money in technology, we don't, at least I don't tend to think of like a plague happening in New York. It's like people get Ebola, in some of the smaller African countries that don't have, the same kind of access to medicine. I mean, this is America. We have hospitals. And when I saw the trucks, when they were putting bodies in the trucks.
Those freezers.
Yes, that messed me up. That I guess I don't even have the words for it, but yeah, I think that many of us have some residual.
We should have that, honestly, because I think that if we don't have that, then like Katie was saying, if we don't have that, then we lose sight of what happened. You really need to have that, because it keeps you more aware of like Katie was saying, that's a possibility of coming back. And you have to,
and people not wanting to get vaccinated and not wanting to wear a mask and the whole, all of that stuff all together. I always, when I go outside, I still wear a mask.
Well, still, yes, me too. I'm still wearing masks, and lots of people in Harlem, they were still wearing them. Thank God, in the end, we could survive.
Right. So anything else you want to ask, KD?
I think, there is one thing. So one of the things that you said about your dolls, and this is what's really interesting, when we talked to Robert Tunner says, everybody's babies look like them. And so I'm looking at your dolls and I'm thinking about our conversation, and yours is that fascination with hair, and your dolls their hair is just exquisite. Like I said, we have all these people who do all these dolls, and in my looking at dolls, what attracted me to your dolls was their hair. And I think that that's part of the beauty that belongs to you, that you bring to the world. And you're talking about, people are getting your dolls from around the world. That's part of how you are blessing the doll community with the natural hair. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm just happy that you made that observation, about our hair, and that you took out the time, like you talked about earlier, going to your friend's hair shop and learning how to manipulate the synthetic hair to make afros and braids that you make. And your dolls are just amazing. And thank you for loving us like that.
Thank you for those words. It's really encouraging me to go to the next step. Thank you.
Thank you. So where should people reach out to you if they want to see more of your beautiful dolls or purchase them? What's a good place for them to reach you?
The best way is go to Etsy, kddolls.etsy.com.
Okay. And is Katie Dolls one word?
Yes, Katie Dolls.
Katie Dolls. Okay. .etsy.com. Okay. Thank you, Katie. We have had a wonderful conversation with you. It was wonderful. Just
so honored, and I could have a great conversation with you guys. Really, really, I enjoyed the conversation, and it gave me a next step or idea. Yes, definitely, I got a lot of idea from you guys, Yes, thank you. Really serious.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, thank you for doing all that you're doing and making these
Yeah.
lovely dolls.
Thank you for being on In the Doll World with us, Katie. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And we'll just say bye to your beautiful little dolls. So we just love them.
Definitely.
So cute.
Bye bye. And it's Georgette's heart right there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Okay,
joining
love.
us. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.